US-Israeli strikes on Iran are continuing for a second day, raising the risk of regional instability. Some Singaporeans traveling in the Middle East when attacks broke out say their return is now uncertain, with airspaces closed. Some have made their way across borders over land, while others are hunkering down to wait for flights to restart. Noah Kong with more.
One Singapore tour group was in Jerusalem for a short Ramadan trip when their plans were disrupted by sirens and blaring phone alerts. The group cut their time in the holy city short, returning to Jordan when the border reopened to wait for their planned flight home on Monday.
Yeah, so that message was like everybody's getting it now. It's an alarm telling us to be alerts are expected, find the best protection around. This is very common.
Humanitarian group Love Aid Singapore also says 2 volunteers have crossed from the West Bank into Jordan with help from the embassy in Israel. They are planning to return home as soon as possible. In Dubai, business owner Annabelle Lim says she saw a flurry of attacks and interceptions on Saturday. These continued for more than 12 hours into the night. With Dubai airspace closed, her plans to fly home on Monday are now uncertain. Airline hotlines are jammed as well.
At least I still have a roof under my head and, running water. But I think it's just, a lot of things I have to sort out, especially with the flights and all of that. So that's just been my top concern, getting back safely to Singapore and then insurance, all that can come after.
Content creator Amy Ang is in Bahrain for work with a film crew. They saw smoke from strikes on a US naval base on the island state. They too were meant to fly home on Monday, but with the airspace also closed, the crew is now awaiting authorities' help for another way home.
It's really scary, but we're trying to keep like a light-hearted spirit to kind of laugh it off, because if we're too stressed, it's also not going to help. Not like stressing out right now is going to get us our flight back to Singapore. So we're trying to spend our time playing games and stuff.
Singapore's Foreign Affairs Ministry has advised Singaporeans to defer all travel to the region, including transiting.
Singapore Airlines and Scoot have cancelled more flights until the coming Saturday in light of the fighting in the Middle East. They include flights to and from Dubai as well as Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. These routes were also cancelled earlier this weekend. Singapore businesses in Dubai say they remain committed to the region in the long term, even amid escalating tensions. One autonomous technology firm is planning to temporarily suspend its services due to the uncertainty. It is also making arrangements to keep its workers safe, including possibly relocating them before trying to return.
We are evaluating our commitments. Of course, we are there to stay for long. We are not there to walk away just because of this conflict. But for the safety of our people and our team, and also for what we believe that there may be a pause in quite a bit of economic activities the next 3 to 6 months.
Meanwhile, a music academy that expanded to Dubai this year has cancelled all lessons until Tuesday. The founders were also set to open a third outlet, but say those plans will now likely be delayed. Still, the duo remain optimistic, citing strong trust in the competency of the public and private sectors.
Of course, this is a bit of a turbulent start to our operations there, but in the end, we believe that the UAE is an incredibly great market for our business. We're extremely confident in how the government's going to handle this situation, and we feel that at the end of the day, we're committed to the UAE as a long-term business play for us.
A Singaporean in Dubai told CNA about the anxiety in the city due to the latest strikes.
There were explosions going on sporadically throughout the night and in the early hours of the morning as well. There were helicopters flying around, and there were public sirens which went off on our phones, indicating missile attacks and asking us to take precautions.
Dr. Tan says the Singapore government's updates have helped to reassure citizens stuck in the region.
I think the best plans, the best contingency plans probably came from our own ministry, who were up to date in informing us. As for the airlines, they kept us informed of any ongoing flights, which invariably all were cancelled. We heard that the airport was hit, especially in Terminal 1, and there are a lot of people stuck there.
Singapore says it regrets the failure of negotiations that has resulted in strikes and retaliation in the Middle East. It urges all parties to return to negotiations to achieve a peaceful resolution in accordance with international law and the principles of the UN Charter. In its latest update on Saturday night, the Foreign Affairs Ministry says there are no reports of Singaporean casualties.